Mary, would you like to proceed?
Yes, please.
Good evening. This is the meeting of the Borough of Highlands Mayor and Council regular meeting on Wednesday, June 18, 2025. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times and by posting in the Borough of Highlands Municipal Building and filing with the Borough Clerk all on January 1st, 2025. Items listed on the agenda are subject to change. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now do roll call. Councilmember Cervantes. Councilman Chalak.
Here.
Councilman Melnick.
Here.
Council President Chesky. Mayor Berlin.
Here.
Thank you. First, we have approval of minutes, June 4th, 2025, meeting minutes.
I'll offer.
Second.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Berlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve June 4th, 2024 meeting minutes. Next, we have June 4th, 2025 executive session minutes.
I'll offer.
I'll second.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Berlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries to approve June 4th, 2025 executive session minutes. Next, we have introduction of proposed ordinance O2512, amending Chapter 3, General Police Regulations, Section 3-1, litter prohibitions of the Code of the Borough of Highlands.
Does anyone have any questions regarding this?
Should anybody take 12 and 14 as in conjunction with one another, or is it just coincidental that they're both on the agenda tonight?
You could take them together, or you can take them separately. I mean, one is specifically towards litter, the other one is for feeding of wildlife.
Seems like you've got a lot of definitions of garbage and refuse, and what can't
there
be
is.
fed through wildlife is potentially garbage and refuse. I didn't know if there was any connection there, but if not, then we can just take them separately.
Andy, do you have anything you would like to add regarding the differences between 12 and 14?
Yeah, so specifically, the litter is more of a general ordinance that applies and broadens, clarifies the definitions of garbage, litter, refuse, all that good stuff that you can't throw out. The wildlife ordinance is specific to feeding wildlife on public property and gives some more clarifications and definitions of what will constitute wildlife, which were previously absent in the code.
Including hybrid wolves as well.
Yeah.
So in just the question in general, I'm not trying to belabor this, but are we doing these changes because there's some issue that we're trying to address in particular with this revision? Like, have we had any kind of concerns with the police or anybody like that who, like, if we only had revisions to these ordinances?
These recommendations were made by the chief of police?
Perfect, that's all.
And
Just want to know where they're
generally-
coming from, because
Yes,
changing
we
the
generally
ordinances.
go with his recommendations, especially when there's loopholes of people that do things where we don't have a specific definition, and then they can't be ticketed.
Got it, perfect, that's all.
Okay, and with that, I'll make an offer.
Are we doing all three, or just
We can do them one at a time.
do one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll second.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Berlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass O2512 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on July 16, 2025. Next, we have O2513, removing restricted parking space in front of residence previously occupied by a person with disabilities.
I'll offer that.
Second.
Councilman Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Just presuming that.
That person no longer lives in the borough.
Right,
It no
yeah,
longer
exactly.
lives in the borough, yes.
Yes, second, or yes.
Mayor Berlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass O2513 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on July 16, 2025. Next, we have O2514, amending Chapter 3, General Police Regulations, Section 3-21, wildlife feeding of the Code of the Borough of Highlands.
Oh, I'll offer that.
I'll second.
Councilman Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Mayor Berlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass O2515 14 on first reading with the public hearing to be held on July 16, 2025. Next, we have other business, open space, and CDBG hearing.
All right, thank you. So tonight we have two public hearings. They are a requirement for both applications. One is the Monmouth County Community Development Block Grant, and the other is the Monmouth County, formerly known as the Open Space, but it is for strictly for recreation improvements for the borough. So, first one we will do is the Monmouth County Municipal Park Improvement Grant Program. We have a brief agenda for program overview, project description, photos, project locations, the scope and need, the schedule based on the grant award, and then project budget and public comment. So, brief overview, the Monmouth County Municipal Park Improvement Grant assists municipalities in providing additional funding needing to make park improvements in municipal parks and open space. Monmouth County Municipal Park Improvement Program is a program of the Monmouth County Board of Commissioners. It's administered with the assistance of the Monmouth County Park System. Grants may be up to 50% of the project costs, are selected on a competitive basis throughout the county, and will be limited to $500,000 per project. Each applicant is limited to one grant application per year. So we have three locations that we're looking at for this grant. The first one is Veterans Memorial Park. The existing play surface beneath the playground has been worn and torn up, so we're looking to replace that and improve ADA accessibility throughout the playground. We'll be relocating the fencing to accommodate a proposed ramp, where right now there is a hump in the existing surface. We will do some landscape improvements, and for the swing set area, the rubber curbing is failing, so we would install a concrete knee wall, and because of the inundation that it deals with right now, we're looking at putting in glued-on rubber tiles that you may see in some parks. That would basically allow for water infiltration to occur. The second location is Huddy Park, which right now has a wooden mulch. So we would be replacing this with that same mindset of the glued-on tiles, so that when the creek comes up from the stormwater system and water kind of infiltrates into the park in heavy storm events, there would be no rutting of the existing conditions. The playground equipment at both of these locations right now is considered fair to good, so we are not planning on replacing them at this time. And the final location is the community center, which had recent improvements, but as you'll see in some of the photos, the rubber mulch that was installed there, it's a maintenance issue, so we feel that putting poured-in-place rubber would help conceal some of the rubber mulch that spills onto the grass area. So with that, here are some photos of the existing Memorial Park, and you can see here some of the patchwork that's been done in the past. The existing top layer is very thin. This is the hump that you can see right before the landing. So we would be looking to make this truly ADA compliant in today's current terminology. We have some root systems from adjacent trees. So any trees that would be taken down, we would look at replacing in kind, or with something that's more suitable that would have less impact on the adjacent playground area. And here's the swing set that I mentioned. You can see better the rubber curb on the right side that I am discussing. So along where the seawall is, there's been flooding inundation that has eroded the curbing. So we'd be looking to lift this area up and basically brace it for better impacts against future storms. Here at Huddy Park, this is wood mulch that gets worn out that we're looking to improve. Here's photos of the existing additions of the sports court. So we're looking at possibly, should we get a good enough grant, replacing the sport court as well to mill and pave and have a true traditional pavement surface at these locations where the tennis court / pickleball is and the basketball. And you can see here in some areas more pictures of the community surface, community park. Here are the project locations: Veterans Memorial, Huddy Park, as well as the community center area. So again, this is a recap of what previously discussed as far as the project scope and need, improvements to the play surface at all three playground areas, and as well as the adult fitness area at Veterans Park. And at Highlands Community Center, We're looking at the replacement of the sport court surface, should there be sufficient funding. So right now, we're looking at a possible grant agreement this time next year, and then we were going to design and go out to bid with the hope of having this construction done by spring 2027. Project budget and municipal match, we're anticipating right now the construction cost a little less than $700,000. We do have a contingency in there for unknowns, which would basically bring the total project cost to a little less than $800,000, which again, we have a $500,000 cap, but it is matching. So the request to the county would be $395,000 with a municipal match for all of these improvements. Again, it's flexible. We're going for all the improvements that we've discussed, and we'll see what we get back from the county and then basically assess what is in the borough's best interest. So, Mayor, we're back to the dais, and then we can have public.
Any questions at all? Comments? It's pretty straightforward.
Just when it comes to the sport court, we just reinstalled that. As far as the effort itself, it's just the underneath that we'd be looking to and preserve the sport court itself and then reinstall it once that milling is done, or?
I believe the intention would be that we would be removing the sport court, which I know is a recent project.
Right.
But there are some issues with the sport court already where it's kind of coming apart at the seams.
It's my secret weapon during pickleball games, knowing where the dead spots are.
So the idea would be to bring in a contractor that could mill the, any basically discrepancies in the base surface and put in a solid pavement and then put acrylic paint system that basically the borough would have a hand in picking colors and basically having it smooth throughout. We would have longitudinal and transverse joints where cracking should occur based on the design.
Got it.
But in terms of priority, depending on how it were the county, because now that they've increased the award amount from 250 to 500,
Yeah.
it's a lot more competitive and people are getting a lot hungrier with what they ask for.
Sure.
So basically, we have to see what kind of grant we get, should we get an award, and then we can assess.
Work within
priority
this.
improvements.
Makes sense. Good.
Any comments? Go right ahead.
Hi, Rosemary Ryan, 17 Highland Avenue. The cement part of the playground, I'm assuming is only abutting the seawall, not within the park. Also, Rosemary Ryan first aid.
We've done some preliminary discussions with the vendor that we'd be looking at, and a lot of New York City parks have gone this route when they're in basically tidal areas. So what they do is they have a concrete base, but then they use a G-Tax tile that would meet all the requirements that first they would be concerned about, or basically it would be that for a fall zone, it's tested that if you were to fall from 2 to 5 or 5 to 12, it would basically be safe. It'd be similar, it's just a matter of when you have salt water and water intrusion getting underneath, it causes an erosion. So this is something that they've found in the last few years as an alternative option for situations such as this.
And if you want to lay eyes on this, it's at HES.
Okay. My only other question is, if you do not get that full grant amount, would you limit it to just one park or 2 parks, so that's down the road?
It depends on how much, if anything, that we're awarded, and then we'll make that decision as to what to go after, or where it's most needed. Anyone else? Then I guess we could go on to CDBG.
Getting pretty good at this thing. All right. So this one is the fiscal year 2026 Monmouth County Community Development Block Grant Sidewalk Improvements Project. So again, a very similar agenda. I'll just run through it if it's okay. This program is run by Monmouth County Community Development Block Grant Program, which is a funding opportunity for acquisition, public facilities and improvements, clearance activities, and other projects for Monmouth County municipalities and nonprofit organizations. This one has a lower maximum grant amount of $200,000, but there is no match. All eligible projects must meet one of the national objectives as described below, which is benefit to low and moderate income residents, aid in prevention or elimination of slums or blight, meet an urgent need. And what the CDBG program does is they provide a map to every community throughout the county of zones that each municipality has opportunities for. So the project description here with some photos to go along with it would be sidewalk improvements, ADA accessibility improvements, guide rails if needed, and then upgrades to crosswalks, sidewalks, curbs, and ramps. So photos of existing conditions, I think this might be out of order, but basically what the project scope, which I'll get into with the map at the end, is that we're looking to do the sidewalk basically from Linden up Waterwich and then along Route 36 to the other side of Linden. We just did the sidewalk improvements along Linden coming down. So basically this would be forming the other two sides of the triangle to just complete that zone around the school. So again, here you see some of the guide rail, which we just replaced on Portland Road. So if we find that some of this needs to be replaced, we could activate funding for this as well. So here's the project map, which I apologize for not being in the first slide, but basically as described, Waterwich and then along Route 36. So sidewalks along Waterwich Avenue and Route 36 are cracked, uneven, and deteriorating. Here we don't have an ADA compliant curb ramp. There is a high foot traffic here for the elementary school. So we want to make sure that this is safe for the community's children and parents bringing their kids to school. This is the conceptual map that will be provided to the county for their review. And again, this one has a similar timeline where we would hope to have an award this time next year. And then it's a little bit more of a delay, but basically, once we get a grant in hand, we would have 1 year to do this project. Project budget for this is right now in its totality, $467,000 with a funding request of $200,000. So again, once we get that grant and we see where the borough's at funding-wise, we could scale back what we think is absolutely necessary and look at other projects where the balance of the improvements could possibly be absorbed because we know that the cost is going to be more than the grant amount. So that one was a little faster, but basically, if anyone has questions from this prior to public comment.
Questions? Little?
No concerns on the fact that, like, to your point about it having to be completed within a year, that portion of it that will be on Route 36, the coordination with the state in order to get the work done, not really an obstacle.
No, because it's a permit, it's a highway. Technically, that area of the sidewalk is the borough's responsibility to fix, and similar to what we do with the county, if they came in and said, hey, we're paving Route 36, we'd probably be rushing the job
Yep.
to get it done.
Yep.
So this would be a good coordination effort. We would have to follow the state details for curve along Route 36 and the restoration detail, so that when they do come in, we're in compliance.
Got it.
And we'd like to do this ahead of any work that the county or the state, because it's, of course, both the county and a state road, before they would come in and do any improvement on 36. That way you want the sidewalks in place like we did on Linden Ave.
Right.
And that just makes paving a lot easier,
Yes.
if that is on their agenda at all, which they do not share with us. Any other comments on this project or the grant?
Okay.
All right, then.
Next, we have consent agenda. Mayor, would you like me to read the resolutions by title?
Yes, please.
R-25-135, authorizing the Borough of Highlands to apply for a 2025 Monmouth County Municipal Park Improvements Grant for the improvements at Veterans Memorial Park, improvements at Huddy Park, and Community Center improvements projects. R-25-136, authorizing the Borough to submit an application for and confirm endorsement of the Community Development Project. R-25-137, continuing the designation of Scenic Highlands Owner LLC as the conditional redeveloper for the property known as Tax Block 105.107, Lot 1.1, located within the Shadow Lawn Mobile Home Park redevelopment area. R-25-138, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Grand Tour Improvements Phase 2 project. R25-139, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Route 36 at Waterwitch Ave pedestrian safety improvements project. R25-140, authorizing payment of bills.
I'll offer.
I will second.
Councilmember Chalack?
Yes.
Councilor Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolutions R25-135 through R25-140. Next, we have resolutions. R25-141, endorsing the housing element and fair share plan adopted by the Highlands Land Use Board and adopting the spending plan.
I will offer that.
Second?
Councilmember Chalack?
Yes.
Councilor Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution R25-141. Next, we have R25-142, approving renewal of liquor licenses for the 2025-2026 term.
I'll offer.
Second?
Councilman Chalack?
Yes.
Councilman Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution R25-142. Next, we have R25-143, approving renewal of liquor license 1317-33-008-005 for the 2025-2026 term.
I'll offer it.
I'll second.
Councilman Chalack?
Yes.
Councilor Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution R25-143. Next, we have R25-144, amending resolution 25-127, entitled approving renewal of liquor licenses for the 2025-2026 term as pertains to liquor license number 1317-33-003.
I'll offer it. I'll second.
Councilman Chalack?
Yes.
Councilor Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution R25-144. Next, we have R25-145, reappointing Nancy Tran to serve in the position of municipal clerk and registrar.
I'll offer.
I'll second.
Councilman Chalack?
Yes.
Councilor Melnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bruin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution R25-145. Next, we have reports.
The administrator is absent, but if you have something that you'd like to share.
Yes, I do have a couple of things. Just in terms of the HVP, this past Saturday and all that rain, we had the Frank Thomas annual fluke tournament, and we had a few stellar people come out, and they won. But the reason I'm pointing it out is that it helps to raise the scholarship for the trades for a graduating senior at Henry Hudson High, and it was given out to a person who's going into the carpentry trade. So we're pretty happy about that. Taste of Highlands is this Saturday, and that's always a fun thing, checking out all the good food in the town. And the farmers market has opened up, if anybody's not aware, on Saturdays, and that's a great thing this summer. And that's it.
Don, anything you'd like to add?
Since I'm sitting in Joanne's seat today, I'll just say last night was a great event at the high school. Congratulations to the Henry Hudson Admirals and their class of 25, wishing them well in their future endeavors. Know a few of them, one in particular, and hope they all have a great career past high school.
Absolutely. It was a great night. It was a great ceremony. The kids are very excited. Well, I guess they're not kids anymore. They're adults now. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You feel old, Don?
Well, I don't feel alone.
I have nothing else to add, so we can go to the public portion statement.
Public portion. Individuals wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their name, address, and the group, if any, they represent. Although the council encourages public participation, it reserves the right, through its presiding officer, to terminate remarks to and/or by any individual not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. If any individual refuses to conduct themselves in a proper manner, they will be removed from the meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of the meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointments, termination of employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of, promotion, or discipline of any specific or prospective or current employee. There's a 3-minute time limit for your comments.
You can speak loudly and forcefully.
Talking about 230 Shore Drive, what was the winning size fish? I have not had any luck this summer.
It was, I think, 4.2 pounds. And so the boat that won the biggest fish also won the Calcutta. That's a separate, private bet. Because they had all the most fish, the heaviest fish. So, yeah, one boat.
That sounds like a nice meal, 4 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, it was a nice sized fish. But of course, they're not saying where they caught it.
Yeah.
Because fishermen never tell.
Rosemary Ryan, Highlands First State President. I want to thank the mayor and the administrator for talking to us, and we just want to say we look forward to all of us finding a solution to a new mold-free home at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that there was a grant writing class that's being offered, and I'm going to try and encourage somebody from the First Aid to take it. They don't, I'll do it, but we really are looking forward to, we're missing a couple, but this is your core.
The core group.
And as you all know from the reports, we answer calls. So thank you for working with us, and then we'll set up a time to have a meeting after June to see if there's been any progress. However, the chief can tell you that, what's the name of the North Star? What is the sheriff's department? Star, they have absolutely no compliance. So,
Wow.
right?
James Willer, 2 Robin Street. Unfortunately, there are times where we cannot get an ambulance out. It's unfortunate, it's the way it works today. I requested at the time of the emergencies 2 times, 2 separate dates. I asked, hey, can we get that started? And then on the air, it's already scheduled. But they have no problem coming to Seabright, and no problem knowing Keyport, towns that are connected to, Castle.
But we've been fortunate that Rumson and Fairhaven have found us. And as we discussed, the hard time is like right after work.
Sure.
Getting that. And we've even extended our hours from 12-hour shifts to 14-hour shifts. I was trying to do that, thank you there. And it's a lot because there are really 14 of us
Mm-hmm.
that answer the call. So,
16.
6, yeah, so, and it's hard because you don't always, 6 EMTs, you don't always have.
People are here.
And you're like, okay, what am I going to do? So, we're trying to keep afloat. There's times we have to fill a call out for backup, hackensack radio. And there's times I'm sitting at my desk, texting Nancy, saying, hey, are you in town? Do you think that lets you go to try and get this call and try and find somebody to drive with them? Or I left Red Bank, flew home to take the call because there was nobody to drive. So we are trying, and we'd like to push volunteers for us as much as you can. To do anything, we really need them. But thank you for working with us.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'm going to adjourn the public portion.
Executive session. Executive session will be held following the regular council meeting. Prior to each executive session, the Borough Council will convene an open session, at which time a resolution will be adopted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-13. No formal action will be taken during executive session. Resolution to enter executive session. Be it resolved that the following portion of this meeting shall not be open to the public. Be it further resolved that private consideration is deemed required and is permitted because of the following noted exceptions set forth in the Act, litigation. Be it further resolved that it is anticipated that the matters to be considered in private may be disclosed to the public at a later date when the need for privacy no longer exists.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Executive session at 7:29.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 7:38. Thank you, everybody.
Wow.